Greetings to you, the lovely GIC viewers and listeners within and beyond the borders of the Republic of Namibia. And a very warm welcome back to the Government Information Center for yet another information sharing session, this time around under the flagship of Public Enterprises. For this second edition, I will be your host. My name is Hileni Felepe-Samunyela, and alongside my studio guest, we will be keeping you company for the next 40 minutes or so. Now, on the menu this morning, we are discussing Fruit Value Chain Development Scheme, as it's affectionately known, the FVCDS. And I am joined in the studio by Ms. Emily Abraham, and she is the Manager for Horticulture Development at the Namibia Agronomic Board. But as is the norm, I'd like to pause here and extend a warm invitation to you, Namibia, to be part of this discussion. You can do so by joining the discussion on our social media platforms. We are currently streaming this show live. On Facebook, we are at the Government Information Center, the GIC, and alternatively, you can also stream us live on our YouTube channel on the same handle. Ms. Abraham, good morning and welcome to the Government Information Center.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right. Now, to kickstart our discussion, or to set the stage for our discussion, rather, the Namibia Agronomic Board recently launched a Fruit Value Chain Development Scheme. Could you kindly give us a bit of a brief background on what this scheme is about?
Yes, thank you so much. At the very beginning, allow me to take you backward, where we are coming from. Mm-hmm. If you look at in 2005, Namibia was importing close to 100%. And we look at it and say, it is not possible that 100%. The country was relying on importation close to 100%, I would call that. Okay. Although at that point we were basically importing 95%. It's equivalent to 100%. A mathematician will understand what I'm talking about. So what we look at it is to say we need to introduce a scheme, a program that will stimulate local production of horticultural products. And that is where now the market share promotion scheme that normally we shorten to say MSP was introduced in 2005. So what the MSP entails was that is to say you as a buyer or as a retailer, you source at least 5% from the local farmers, because at that time the production or the local production was so limited, and then 95% can come from outside. So then we implemented the scheme. It really worked very well. It worked very well such that the local market share starts to increase. And in 2012, we really realized that it's really picking up. It came to 36. And as we speak, we are talking about 47%. So local market share, which means that now our farmers are able to produce or bring on the table 47% of what we consume, and still 53% is coming from outside. And as a regulator mandated to see to it that the country is food secured. And when you talk about food security, it's not just to access food, but also to make sure that you strengthen your muscles locally to be able to bring a bigger portion on the shelf from your farmers. So what we realize is that we need to dig much deeper and understand why, despite the fact that we are implementing MSP, we are still lagging behind in terms of fruit.
Right.
Where is the problem? So we through our research leg, we went much deeper, and we realized that even when the MSP is being implemented and looks like it's reaping good reward, we are still lagging behind with fruit production, such that 97% of the fruit we consume in the country is coming from elsewhere. And the country can only bring on the table 3% or 4%. And that's really something that can, how do I put it? It's very disappointing, so to say, either to a regulator or to a consumer, as a Namibian consumer, because we want to take pride of the product that you are sourcing from the homegrown product. So what we realized is that we did not end there. We went again, and then we sent our research leg to say, please go deeper and understand what is hindering our producers from participating in the fruit production or to venture into fruit enterprise. So it came out now that our farmers are really struggling to source certified planting materials. And you know, when it comes to agriculture or farming in particular, genetics speak volume. Right. So it's about genetics. So if you start with the wrong genetics, then it's as good as you are wasting your money, because the stronger or the quality the genetic, then it speaks directly to the yield. It influences the yield. So one thing that stood out as a challenge is poor quality planting materials, where you find that farmers, they just source anywhere with no proper guidance. They can even source a plant from the roadside. They go and plant the water, they take care of the plant. 5 years afterward, they start to yield the fruits. And then when they start looking for the market, they come to us. MLE or NAB, we are looking for the market. The first question that you ask if you want to facilitate the market is, what cultivar have you planted? Right. And they will always do not know.
You're like speaking Greek, right?
Yes, it's like Greek to say, no, I don't know. I don't know what cultivar I've planted. And it's become now very difficult for us also to facilitate the market for the smallholder farmers, because this problem also, we picked it up that it's mostly with the smallholder farmers. So it came out now to say it's also very difficult now for NAB to fulfill its mandate when you are working with the value chain actors who are planting unknown plants with the unknown varieties, and the market also then they are speaking a different language, because they want to say, if you are saying that someone is selling mangoes, for example, then you must be able to say, okay, Farm A is selling mangoes and it's Tommy Atkins, for example. Then they'll be so comfortable to say, no, I'll be able to take up that mango. So then from there, that's when now we realize to say, look, we need to come up with a specific scheme that is targeting fruit to develop and stimulate fruit production in the country. Number one is to boost the production so that at least we'll be able to have sufficient or quite a number of product lines that are sourced from our Namibian farmers. Number two also is also to educate our farmers on the proper agronomic practices, how to take care of the tree, just for example, because also even if you plant a good quality planting materials, but it's not well taken care of, you did not feed it, you did not water it's supposed to be, you did not prune it, and all other agronomic practices that need to be done, you'll find that still the yield will be affected, and again your investment, you might not be able to realize good return on investment. So that's why you see that that scheme now, it encompasses training, education, mentorship, like one-on-one coaching, linkage now to the market, because now we know that you are planting the variety as per our guidance. You are sourcing it from a repeatable source, such that now we are confident, even when we are saying Elaine is selling mango or probably it's blueberries, we are very confident that the variety that you have planted is known and is the one that is needed by the market. So that is actually where it also came for us now to implement that. And another thing also, we then also realized that there's also affordability issue. Right. It's not just about sourcing. Some of them, they raise a point to say, we know where to source, but the problem is money now. So we look at it again to say, even if we are regulating, we can probably come up with subsidizing at least a certain percentage on planting materials and also on production inputs. So that is where now you find that under that scheme, we are basically subsidizing 30% on the planting materials. We are doing that deliberately such that we encourage them to source clean, certified, and good quality planting materials. And then on top of that, we then also realize that even if we give them good quality planting materials, they will still lag behind some of them with inputs such as fertilizers and also pesticide, fungicide, for example, because that is the common sickness that you find in trees. Trees also, by the way, get sick. Yeah, so that is basically what we also then say, let us also subsidize 30% on fertilizers and also 30% on the pesticide fungicide and any other pesticide that they might actually experience in their farm.
Okay.
So what we are doing now is that the planting materials, we are subsidizing 30% once off. Because once you plant, then you just take care of your trees. And I always like to say that fruit trees is actually a generational wealth.
Right.
It's an investment that you plant, you take care of it, and then for 50 years, you are basically harvesting from the same trees. And for the farmers, sometimes you find that they are scared to invest in trees to say, it takes so long. I can't wait.
To bear fruits.
To bear fruits.
Right.
And look, sometimes something that takes so long, but then again you reap reward for a very long time, even beyond, even when you are no more here.
Yeah, your children
so your children and grandchildren, they are eating from the same. I think it's something that is worthwhile to invest and create your generational wealth. So what we are now looking at, maybe just to go back, is to say the planting materials, you receive 30% once off. You plant. Okay. So we are now looking at 1 hectare up to 10 hectares because we are talking about commercial production here. It's not backyard. Okay. And we want you to plant in a manner that it's in a garden proper layout. Because we don't want one tree is behind your bedroom, another tree is again close to the chicken coop and so forth. So we want you to plant in a layout that is acceptable by the market. Even when the buyer comes to your house and say, we want to see where is the garden, obviously the hygiene is there, and local gap, obviously the local good agricultural practice is also adhered to, because it's also about food safety. And the food that is not safe is also not food. Then, then after that, then we will be now taking care of now subsidizing 30% for the period of 3 years on imports. Okay. So whenever you are buying your fertilizers, you pay your portion on your invoice, we then settle our portion on pesticide and fertilizer for the period of 3 years until harvest. So the reason why someone might actually ask to say, why do you target 3 years? That is basically the gestation period for most of the fruit trees that you find, common trees. Of course, there are trees some that might go beyond that, but most of them, especially the ones that are listed, they basically, after 3 years, obviously, you are able to reap your reward and sell. Or before the year. The earlier, the better for us. But we are saying that we are willing to hand work with you for the period of 3 years. Whether it's now mentorship or training, we'll also work with you in that journey for the period of 3 years.
All right.
Yes.
Ms. Abraham, that was quite a mouthful, right? So much information that you've given me. But I do appreciate that you've actually given context to our viewers and listeners as to what this conversation is about. Now, you have mentioned 97% of our fruits were imports, right? I want to get a better understanding and for us to expound more on this context within which this program is actually developed or was established. Namibia imports about 97% of its fruits, despite the favorable conditions that you've earlier on mentioned, and even more to that at our disposal. What has been holding the local production back, if in your experience, and how does this specific scheme then address the challenges that the farmers have been holding or have been experiencing?
Yes, thank you so much, Elena. I think that's a good question. One thing that we picked up that was holding the industry back is lack of information. You find that most of the people that have interest to venture into agriculture in particular, whether it's now fruit or vegetable or any other enterprise, you find that they are non-agric. They want to invest in agriculture, but they are not so sure which enterprise they should venture into. So that's why you find that when this scheme was now we start to publish it on our different media platforms and so forth, we start speaking about it, you find that majority of people that are calling are actually non-agric. Some people are going for their retirement. They want to actually retire on the farm, which is actually a good thing because it's a good retirement business. And also the other thing also that we realize is also then the issue of affordabilities, as I've already alluded to earlier. The farmers, they want to farm, but then they were now saying, look, we can't afford. We want to procure planting materials, but it's remember, pricey. We have to, it's very expensive. It's being exported. I mean, it's being also then imported from other countries. Right. And then obviously if a product is being also imported from other countries, also then you see that the cost of transportation is also added and so forth. Right. And that's why probably while we are here, just to say that already, even in terms of strengthening now the entire value chain also, this scheme it's actually going to do a good job in terms of strengthening everybody that is involved. Right. One, even in terms of the nursery operators, those that are importing from other countries, we are also trying to encourage them, get them organized, and start also doing whether it's grafting here locally, so that then it's also easier for the farmers to be able to source locally grafted trees. Right. Of course, there are a few that are doing it, but we want to encourage a lot of them to be also scattered around now in the country, such that the trees can not only be in Windhoek or in Swakop, also in Omsat region or probably Oshana. If I want to source a good quality planting material, I must be able to access it in Ongwediva or in the nearest town. So it's one of those things that also part of the missing links that I'm talking about now, the suppliers of the fruit trees, and its affordability now that we are trying to address through now subsidizing 30% on planting materials, 30% on inputs such as fertilizer and pesticide. And also it's also issues of also lack of skills. I want to tell you, Eleni, that if you venture into a business and you lack knowledge, I can tell you even the bank will fear to fund you, because they will have no appetite to finance somebody who has no knowledge on what to do. And that's why we are looking at to say, for inclusivity, we are not only targeting farmers who have been already planting vegetables or planting fruit trees. We are also encouraging any Namibian with the interest and probably you love or have passion to do farming, you are welcome, because we are able to train you from planting up to harvesting. So what is happening is that we have quite a lot of series of training that will look at it to say how to plant. You'll be taught or you'll be educated on that, how to take care of the trees, just basic tree care. And then already as we approach now the harvesting part also, you will also be trained on how to harvesting, because what we picked up is that, for example, some smallholder farmers, when they're harvesting, you find that they are throwing stones on the tree. And that's not the proper way of harvesting, because you are also creating bruises on your fruit. So that is why we are now saying that we need to proper train you. Even if you lack knowledge, feel free to apply for the subsidy scheme, because you'll be trained, you'll be mentored, and eventually the ultimate goal is that you want to see to it that you produce a good quality fruit that will be able to sell it itself on the market or on the shelf.
Right.
Yes.
That's relieving or refreshing to hear, because, you know, Helene is sitting here and I'm not agric, I may not be agric as you've earlier on put it, but I have a garden at home and I'm interested, even if I'm not, I have no skills in this area, but I have to eat, right? I love fruits, I love mangoes, so maybe this is where it takes me then to say, I don't necessarily need to be a large-scale farmer to be able to acquire the skills, but I can do so to even manage my own backyard garden and to grow fruits, because fruits don't only need to have the better quality when they are being sold, right? But even for your own consumption, they still need to have that quality so that it serves you the nutrients that you need, right? Now, thank you so much. And that certainly provides an important insight into the structural challenges that are experienced. But now, let's shift our focus to the scheme's practicality and how it supports local farmers. Talk to us about the 30% you've earlier on mentioned, the 30% subsidy, how it works in practicality, and what kind of support farmers can expect from the board, from the planting to then the harvesting throughout.
Yes, good. I love practical because with farming, you have to be practical.
Right.
Theory aside. Look, what this program entails is that we expect an application from an interested farmer. So you put in your application just to show us interest that, yes, you are willing to participate. We screen through your applications. And then once we are satisfied with the administration part or aspect, we would then have to send our officials on the ground to come and verify whether what is on the form or what you provided on the form is exactly what is on the ground.
Right.
Because you'll be so shocked that we are going through a lot. Sometimes the farmer will tell you, I have a big farm with 1 hectare under cabbage. You go there to the farm, you just find buildings.
Oh.
Yes, so for us, we make sure that we are very practical. Otherwise, then it's actually a waste of time to end up financing somebody who is basically not even probably have a land, but it's not yet debushed.
Right.
So we go there, we verify, we ask you some questions, we satisfy ourselves as based on our guidelines, because we do have modalities and also checklists, a standard checklist that is guiding us to say, do you have water? Is it of good quality?
Irrigation.
Is it now of good quantity? Because remember, trees are more thirstier than us.
Right.
We are thirstier, but trees are more thirstier. So, and water is the heart of the garden. We verify all those things. Where is your source of water? Is it borehole? Is it river probably? Or you are going to use NAM water or rural water supply and so forth. Then we look at the land. Where is the land that you indicated you want to subdue and plant trees? We look at the land. Is it probably the history? We can also obtain the history of the land. We don't want a situation where probably you are now pointing the land where probably initially there was probably a pit latrine or something.
Right.
Also with the mind of local gap already, because we want to make sure that the food that we are producing is also of good quality. Then we also satisfy ourselves in terms of irrigation equipment, for example. If you are able to convince us that you don't have irrigation infrastructure at the moment and you are able to acquire, we might actually look at it and get you through, but provisionally, until such time we are convinced that you are able to get those infrastructure in place. Then we also look at situations such as, for example, the financial part aspect. Are you able to afford? We need to have a conversation as to how are you going to finance your 70%.
Right.
So once we are satisfied with that, and then the ownership of the land. If the farm is yours, you provide us with the copy of your title deed.
Right.
If probably you are going to rent from or lease from your mom or your grandmother, we need also lease agreement must be actually provided. If, for example, your parents say, no, you are going to lease, you are not going to lease, but we are just going to give you a land, you are our own, we also need a letter
from the parents
stating that.
Okay.
So it's just for us to be satisfied to know that, yes, it's your land, you have the land, or you are going to lease the land,
and you are not going
to work on it, and you are not going to be disrupted because alongside while you are producing, because strictly you find that some farmers were doing very well. And when the people that lease the land to them, they realize that the product is almost now showing a good sign of harvest, then they change their mind.
Right.
So if such situation occur, it's a loss to us, not only to you, it's a loss to the Namibian consumer, because our expectation is that that same product that we are subsidizing, we want to see it on the shelf at a particular point of view. I mean, a point of
flourishing.
Time. Yes,
right.
Flourishing, yes.
All right. Now, thank you so much, Ms. Abram, for that information. And that sounds like a comprehensive support system for our local farmers. I'm sure they are relieved wherever they are tuning in from this morning. And thank you. But now, for clarity's sake, and for the benefit of my viewers and listeners, who are probably tuned in right now, right? And who qualifies for this fruit value chain development scheme. What criteria must farmers meet to be able to be beneficiaries of this particular scheme?
Good. The criteria are very straightforward. We are talking about being a Namibian farmer, because this scheme is strictly for Namibian farmers. Of course, allow me to highlight that you find that there's always people that try to be smart for the system.
Right.
You find that they might give their identity document to some people to apply, and then at a later stage when you go and verify, you find that this is not the person that applied. So I want already to warn and caution the public that this scheme is for you and is strictly for Namibian, and we need to adhere to such protocol.
So there's no such things as, I, Heleni, see the potential in my land, I then give it to my specific a foreign friend who wants to run the business in my name, like on my land. It has to be strictly on my name, and I have to run that business.
You have to run the business. If your foreign friend, you want to give, to bless your foreign friend with the land, let your foreign friend actually fund the land on his or her own.
Right.
But this scheme is specifically for Namibian. Otherwise, we are defeating the purpose of the scheme. So that is one, Namibian farmer. And number two, we don't look at age. Whether you are a senior citizen, as long as you have energy to farm and farm with your grandchildren, probably, you are welcome to participate in this scheme.
Okay.
We are also do not have, in terms of gender, man or woman in farming, you are also welcome to farm.
Okay.
So probably the criteria that we can probably to look at again is just the one that I already mentioned, to say the land must be available that you subdue to plant your trees, water must be available, the money to finance the 70% must be available. We don't want you to change the mind.
The 70% is from me.
From you.
Right.
70%. So what is happening is that if you are buying, for example, 100 trees, so you pay your portion 70% as we pay our 30%. So again, for fertilizers, you pay your 70%,
and again,
as we pay
your cover
our 30%. Same applies to the pesticide and fungicide.
Okay.
So we are available and willing to also advise you where to source your planting materials. But if you have already where you are sourcing, it's okay. You can actually source wherever you want, as long as that's a reputable supplier where you are sourcing, because we do not want a situation where you are sourcing from a backyard nursery, and later on when you see that you are watering and your mango trees are not fruiting at a period that you're supposed to fruit, and you start to complain to say, I don't know what is wrong with your my mango. So we can guide you as well where to get your pesticide and also fertilizer in case you are not aware where to get. Okay. So basically our criteria, Eleni, we want to include every Namibian that wants to farm. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
With knowledge of farming or with no knowledge in farming. That's why you see that the package includes training, which is very compulsory. And we even made it a point to say, when you are coming for training, which you are actually going to provide free of charge, and it's a practical training that will be provided by people that are already involved in farming. It's not somebody that just wake up and bath and say, I'm able to train.
Right.
We have to make sure that that is somebody that actually already have been farming with that product line. And you find that our training are structured such that if it's a mango training, it's a mango training.
Right.
If it's a banana training, it's a banana training. Although we know there can be some jack of all trades,
right,
but sometimes it's not the case. So you want, if it's a mango training, we want a successful mango farmer or somebody who has been involved in farming to do the training.
Right.
So what we are looking at is to say, if a farmer beneficiary is coming to be trained, you also need to bring along your manager to be trained. So that at least if your manager resigned today, the knowledge stay with the owner and will be able to impart the person that is going to take over the farm. If you again, so if you are, for example, working in Windhoek, the person on ground, the manager, needs to be trained. Right. So that is basically what we are trying to do. And I want to tell you that already with other scheme, we have started doing that on potato scheme. I hope you are aware of that. Maybe we'll come back again another day to share our success stories.
Yes,
and we are willing to do that. You find that the training is provided and farmers are doing very well. And we are very confident that whether you are a novice farmer, whether you are a non-agric person, we'll get you right in the track and with the ultimate goal for us to enhance food security of this country.
All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Abraham, for that information. Now, I am actually so happy that this scheme is not looking at gender, it is not looking at any age criteria. Anybody that is Namibian, that is interested, that is capable of providing the 70% to do this farming, and then the Namibia Agronomic Board will then fund the rest of the 30%, whether now on plants or the pesticide or what is the other one that you
Fertilizers.
Fertilizers, right? I love that you are not, because in many cases, most schemes have age restrictions, but this one is not looking at that. I actually appreciate that. And I also appreciate that this scheme is looking at importing skills to the Namibians that are interested in farming, whether it's just me that wakes up this morning and decides, now I want to do farming, I can obviously just consult you and then, of course, go through training and then be able to, you know, plant and later on harvest the fruits, right? I appreciate that very much. Now, of course, production is one part of this equation, right? However, sustainability depends heavily on the market access. Let's now shift focus to market access. Beyond production, how is the scheme supporting farmers with access to markets, value addition, as well as long-term sustainability?
Yes, that's a very good question, because I always say that production is supposed to start with the market. Because as a producer, you start with the destination of your product in mind. Before you even think of producing, what do the market want? What is their needs? And that's why you find that in the package of the fruit development subsidy scheme, you find that there is market linkages, both for export and also for domestic. So let's start with the domestic part.
Right.
So the domestic part, what we are looking at is to say, once we onboard all the beneficiaries, we make or we plan or we organize a day where we then bring on board all the retailers that are interested, that probably sell the fruit on their shelves. So we bring them on board as well. And the good thing is that, or the good news is that already we have engaged them and they are willing. And especially most of them that sell fruits. Let me give you an example, for example, banana fruit.
Right.
Banana is one of the fruit that we are importing 100%.
Important.
Yes, when you go on the shelf, you see a banana,
products.
you would not see a Namibian banana there.
Okay.
So what the retailers are saying is to say it will be really a bonus for us to source bananas in the country, because banana can actually spoil so quickly. It can ripen so quickly.
Absolutely.
So even if you get it at a green state already from Cape Town, when you get to the border,
It's
start to
already
yellow already.
ripening.
So you can actually lose your 30% already of your sale. So, but if we can source it from the local farmers, then it will be a bonus. So all I'm trying to say is that the willingness of the domestic buyers to support our local farmers as far as fruit is concerned is there. So what is needed is just now for us to onboard these people and then get them to sign off-take agreement written in writings. We don't want gentleman agreement such that at some point of time when now you start selling, then the person will change their mind. So you write and agree to say, I am going to buy Eleni mangoes during the time of harvest. So normally we arrange the market leakage days when we know that we are almost there. And we are confident looking at how the performance is, because you do not want to enter into an agreement or force somebody to sign an agreement with somebody who just planted yesterday, because anything can happen.
Right.
So that's why I want to now indicate to say, farmers, you don't need to be scared of market. So leave that aspect to us. For you, it's just to pronounce yourself that you are willing, you are keen, and you have love for farming. We want a person with passion for farming. And you know how powerful love is. So if you love something, you are willing to defend it. Come fire, come water, you are willing to defend it. And remember, in farming also, it's not a walk in the park. there's a lot of challenges that will come by your way, and you need to defend your trees such that it will reach marketing. So the market is guaranteed, and like I said, 95% or 97% of importation that we are doing in Leni, it's already an indication of an opportunity that the market is there, and that's why people have to import.
Right.
If there was no will, then why are they importing?
Right.
So that already should signal that the zeal or the willingness on Namibian consumers, they want to participate in fruit consumption.
Right.
It's just that it's not being produced here. So then coming to export, as we know that Namibia population is very small.
Right.
I always like to equate it to a size of the village somewhere in other countries. You find that when you talk about, for example, Johannesburg, you find people are a lot there. 6 million or more than that.
Right.
But now for us, we are just 3 million. So
The
it
whole
does not
country.
the whole country. So we will come at a specific stage where we are producing more than what we need.
Right.
And that is why already we do have a person, a colleague, that is employed to facilitate trade.
Right.
Okay? So our senior trade advisor, her job is to see to it that we look for export markets.
Right.
Where can we send our product in a situation where we find ourselves we can't consume everything? So meaning that that aspect is covered, the person was employed and is dealing with that aspect. So we don't need again to fear to say, I can't enter because my neighbor have entered.
Right.
So let us feel free to participate. The scheme is ours. The money is free of charge. You don't even need to pay back. It's not a loan. So let us feel free.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, so the 30% that the board is subsidizing is free. It's not a loan. It is free money that you are getting to sustain yourself with your farming activities.
Exactly.
All right. No, thank you so much. And indeed, Ms. Abraham, it's, even though we are a population of just 3 million, we shouldn't limit ourselves to that because we can export, right?
Exactly.
And especially that the board has made it so easy for us, given that there is somebody that is already catering for that aspect of trading. It is, I think it's an applaudable, commendable job that the board is doing because the population should not discourage us.
Exactly, and you can say that again, Eleni. And in fact, on export, we are already doing very well. Countries, different countries, they love our product. Look at grapes.
Table grapes,
We don't
yes.
struggle with table grapes. We sent our table grapes and
And
they still
dates.
need
I
one
see
more.
there is also
dates
more
as
now
well. We
emerging
are also
markets
doing
of dates.
citrus. But what we are looking at is say our fruit basket is too narrow, or let me say it's too limited. We want to expand it. We want to diversify our export market as well. And that is why you see that we are not only confined to supply domestic market, but we are also already busy looking for the export market to, number one, to diversify the export market, to have various markets where we can supply, and also diversify the product that we are sending to different markets.
Okay.
Yes.
By the way, Ms. Abraham, how is the potato production doing?
The potato production is doing very well, and I must acknowledge that, God willing, we are basically projecting to harvest close to 2,200 tons.
Wow.
End of July, and that's already 50% of our domestic demand.
Wow.
So basically, this scheme, if we have to put it to say, it's likely to reap good harvest. And if we have to add the portion from the beneficiaries to the current production, we are likely to reverse the situation of 65% import and 35% local production.
I love that.
Yes.
And that would also just mean that the prices for those commodities that we are talking about, these fruits, these vegetables, will become cheaper locally because now we see the prices are exorbitantly priced because it's sourced from elsewhere. Right? I appreciate what the board is doing.
Yeah, maybe just to comment on that, just to say that when the price is too high, also it's actually, how do I put it, it's also impact on food security. Because food security is not just about having the food available, but also the ability of a consumer to afford and access that particular food for you to be able to consume.
Okay.
So, and that's why you see that these schemes, all of them in totality, we have quite a lot of them, will keep coming. But just to be specific on this one is to say, the general rule is such that a consumer needs to consume vegetable worth a feast.
Right.
For you to be able to be
worth
fit.
a feast.
Yes.
Right.
And that is where you find that statement coming from to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It's not necessarily the apple, but also it can also attribute to say if you consume vegetable worth a feast every day, you can keep a lot of sickness away. Okay. But now the question comes back to us is that what about affordability? And if we are importing a lot of food stuff, obviously affordability will be a big question mark. Are we able to afford? Because even now in the event where there is fuel cost, fuel now is also increasing. Everything now is hiking up. So now you find that the price of produce will also be higher because we are not able to produce our own. Okay. But then what we are saying is that we are expecting that at least the price will be affordable to all our consumers, and then we can declare that at least at some point we are food secured in 2030.
Absolutely.
God willing.
Absolutely. We are slowly but surely running out of time, and I now want to look at the broader picture, Ms. Abram. What impact do you think that this scheme is going to have on Namibia's economy, as well as in terms of job creation and import reduction and export growth by 2030?
Yes, that's a good question, and probably just also for me to acknowledge that all our initiatives, they are basically a synergistic product in nature because they come to birth because of NAB being a good listeners to what the stakeholders are looking for. They've been looking for these schemes, they've been advising the board, and we realized that let us actually come up with this scheme so that we can subsidize and make production cheaper for most of the key products that we consume. So this initiative, if you look at it now from the broader perspective, as you asked, we are well aligned with the NDP6.
Right.
We are also well aligned with our president vision, because I was even looking at one article to say our president is looking forward to reduce import with at least 80%.
She actually has prioritized agriculture.
Yes, 80%, and she prioritized agriculture. We love that, and we are well aligned, and we are happy to be also well aligned with that. So what I'm trying to say is that if this scheme materialize, if our efforts materialize, we are looking at least 100 hectares to be planted in a year annually, and a total of 400.
Collectively, right?
Yes, 400 hectares to be planted now by 2030. What does this mean to a Namibian? So when we talk about, for example, job creation, agriculture is one of the sectors that can create jobs for everyone.
Right.
Everyone can be semi-skilled, highly skilled, or low-skilled or no skill. They have the opportunity to participate in the agricultural sector. And when you talk about 100 hectare planted, we are basically can translate it or confident to translate it into 6,000 jobs, because we are looking at least a standard of 6 jobs created per hectare.
Right.
Yes, 6 man days per hectare. And already by 2030, we are looking at 24,000 jobs to be created. Right. And obviously that's what everybody, including the government, wants to hear. And in terms of food security, again, if we are to reduce importation with 70%, for example, or 80%, we are talking about bringing back our job that we have been sending away for a long time. Because when you are importing more, you are basically exporting your job as well.
Value addition is not
considered. Value addition also will also be considered, because obviously when you are producing a product, it's not only, you don't only expect A grade, you also have a B grade, you have C grade. And when you do have your C grade and B grade, obviously then you encourage a lot of value chain actors, such as, for example, MSME that want to do processing. And these people also create job again indirectly. And mind you, we don't even do our own potato, I mean, not potato, but even potato, frozen chips. Let me be specific on that. We want to do our own juice, but sometimes the raw materials, where to source, it's also very complicated. So we need to make it easier for our people and strengthen our value chain as well,
Right.
like from the top and down.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Abraham. Lastly, we've come to the end of our discussion, but it would be amiss of me if I don't push you this question for our viewers and listeners that are tuned in right now and are interested in this scheme. How do they are quite keen on partaking, right? How do they then apply? Where do they go? What documents are required? And everything around it.
Yes, our forms are uploaded on our website. We have a link. You can go on our website and then access our form. You can also come to our offices as walk-in client. We'll be able to assist you. We do have offices in different regions. On Wediva, we have one. Otapi, we have one, although currently now we don't have someone there, but eventually we'll have a person there.
Right.
So then in Rund, we also have one. Then in Zambezi region, Katima, we do have an office there. Ketmans, we do have an office, Vaves Bay as well. In Windhoek, we do have a bigger one here. So we are waiting for you. You can come, we'll assist you. Bring your certified copy of ID. Land ownership as indicated, whether it's a letter from the headman or probably it's your copy of title deed or letter from your parents. And then with the proof of fund, we can always discuss and we advise you what type of fund that you can probably provide or what type of proof that you can just put as at comfort that, yes, you are able to cover your 70%. But that is not something to worry about. Bring those documents, your ID, and the proof of ownership, then we take it from there.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Abraham, for making time to come speak to us about this very important subsidy or scheme, if you ask me, because so much needs to be done. A lot is being done, but it starts somewhere, right? We appreciate that the board deemed it fit that this information need to be disseminated. We appreciate the skills impartation to our local farmers and the access to market and everything. The 30% that the board is providing and the guidance thereof, we truly highly appreciate what the board is doing. Thank you so much for making time to come educate us on this particular topic of discussion.
Thank you so much, Eleni. We are blessed to be here and we look forward to come more and more.
Right. Thank you so much.
much.
Namibia, that concludes our brief discussion, brief but actually lengthy one, discussion for this morning. We were talking fruit value chain development scheme, and I was joined in the studio by Ms. Emily Abraham. She is a manager for horticulture development at the Namibia Agronomic Board, NAB. I've been your host. My name is Eleni Felipe-Samunyala. From myself and the entire GIC production crew, until next time, take care.